What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rusty Nuts Media. Today, working on Project Gewch again, our Dodge Caliber SRT4. It's really dirty, I gotta say that, but we'll clean it when we're done. We're still working on it. We're doing a couple things today. Mainly, the first thing we're gonna do is clean up. I was going to tighten a clamp just a minute ago, and I can't even find my screwdriver. So that means it's time to clean this place up a little bit, so I'll be right back after that. While I'm cleaning up though, I want you guys to go down there and hit the subscribe button right now. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit subscribe. It's not gonna hurt nothing. And when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll be doing another giveaway. More details on that later, but yeah, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. I'll be right back. And bam. Just like that. Much more manageable. I know it's not perfect, but at least I can find all my tools now. So what we're doing today is doing a battery relocation on the Caliber. As you know, the engine bay is no longer going to house the battery. It's actually getting moved to the back of the car. So from Taylor, I've ordered this battery box. The rule book states, and I'm talking about the NHRA rule book, if your battery is in the driver's compartment, which this being a hatchback like it is, everything is in the driver's compartment. Same rules apply with a fuel cell or anything like that. It has to be contained in its own separate box or some kind of covering. So that's what this box is gonna do. You're gonna put your battery in this box. It's gonna use these rods to mount the box to the car, to mount the battery using this inside the box, and then they're gonna stick up through the top, and you're gonna put little washers on the top too. Little nuts, wing nuts on the top to keep everything in here. It's got 3 holes in the back, one for the power, one for the ground, and one for the vent tube, which is this right here, that you're gonna vent outside of the car. And then you're gonna run your power and ground wires. That's all that's included in the kit, along with all the nuts and fittings and all that stuff. Separately, I have about 10 feet of ground wire. I've got about 20 feet, maybe 25 feet of power wire, 2 distribution blocks, and new terminals for my battery. So all this will go in, all this will be going in the back of the car, hopefully today. Now, looking in the back of the car, you can pretty much put it anywhere you want because it's contained in its own box. Where I was looking at putting it at is about right here. I could move it farther back to where it would just be back here or in one of the corners, but honestly, I didn't want to move it all the way to the back of the car. Mainly due to weight transfer, I want to keep most of the weight forward. I didn't want to bring it all the way back. I know there's probably better places to put it. I could try my best to keep it up front, but this is kind of where I want the battery to be placed. And also, we're gonna have a power shutoff being installed on this car. I'll kind of walk you through where it's going, what it does, all that kind of stuff too, but unfortunately it hasn't arrived yet. It should arrive, I think in like 3 more days it'll get here. But I can go ahead and run the power wire to the power shutoff and just have it there for when it gets here. I just plug it right on and we're done. So I'm gonna go ahead and find a good place to put the distribution blocks to kind of see where I'm gonna run from the battery to the power shutoff to the distribution blocks, and the rest of the power wires and ground wires will be going on those blocks, so everything's all nice and neat. So I'm gonna get started on this, and then I'll update you in just a minute. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is kind of lay out where you want this box to be. The second thing you're gonna do is go under the car and double check. Once you drill through the bottom of the car, you're not gonna be hitting anything like the gas tank or brake lines or anything like that. So the spot I've picked out, I'm gonna set the base of it here and figure out where I want it. From there, I'm gonna mark that point of that hole, and then I'm gonna start drilling through. I'm gonna start with a small one, move up, and then finally get to the size of the all thread over there that's coming up through the floor. Same with down here. Then you're gonna get your thread. You're gonna go ahead and put a nut and a washer on one side of it, just like that. So that's actually gonna be on the bottom of the car. So from the bottom of the car, you have to come up and sit right there. And if you can't get the rod up through there like that, you can put the rod through, and then somebody on the bottom can put the washer and the nut on. Same for this side. Now, once these come up through here, you're gonna wanna put the box on there, and then on this side, where this is coming up through there, you're gonna put another nut and washer to hold that right there. And officially the bottom of your box is bolted to the car. Now down here, where I have kind of a gap here, I'm actually going to take a nut and a washer and go here to where it locks the all thread to the car, and then another nut and washer on the bottom of here, and a nut and washer on the top of here. So I've got it locked here and locked here. That's gonna keep this from getting pulled down when I tighten the nut like that. So that's gonna be the install on that, and then we'll move on to the next part. All right, so that step's out of the way. All I've done, there's a nut on the very bottom of this and a washer connecting it to the bottom of the car, and then a nut and a washer on top of the bottom of the box, pretty much sandwiching this bottom of the box to the car. On the front here, or on the back here, now if you're mounting this to a flat surface, you won't need to do this part right here. It would do the same thing as the front, but since I've got a little bit of a raised portion back here, I've got a nut and a washer on the bottom and a nut and a washer on the top. And that tray is not moving at all. So from there, you're gonna put the middle portion of the tray on. You can go ahead and set your battery in and then lock it down. So I might go ahead and do that now. All right, moving forward a little bit. We've got our battery set down in here. And since I'm gonna have the holes for the battery wire in the front here, I've got my terminals at the back. That way I've got a little extra room in case they're in the wrong position. I can rotate them a little bit. Whereas if my terminals were here and the hole was over here, it'd be a real sharp turn here and then a real sharp turn back. So this just gives me a little bit of extra room to play with. And then once you've got that on there, you've got your little cross brace on, you've got a washer and a nut holding it down real tight. The battery's not going anywhere whatsoever. You take your outer box shell here. It's got the vent tube hole and the two wire holes. Whichever way you're wanting to run your wires, you face it that way. It slides all the way down and clicks into place. Of course, I've only got one hand, so I can't really click it in right now, but it's gonna sit on like that. From there, you can grab the top of it. Again, note where the terminal holes are. They're on this side over here. I'm gonna place that on top. Just like that. Of course, I've only got one hand, so I can't push it down on there all the way. And then the last step, got some washers and some wing nuts that you're gonna put on the top, sandwich everything down, and that's it. The only other thing you need to do is either drill a hole or use an existing hole for your vent tube to run out of, and then put your terminals and your cables on and run them out and route them how you want them to go. Now this box does include some grommets for the box itself, some little C-clips that you can use if you want to, and then it also comes with the little fitting for the vent tube. So you can put this on there, on the box, and then run your tube wherever you want to go. So basically that's it for the install of the battery box in the back. I'm gonna go ahead and get the terminals on and start running some power wire, so I'll be right back. All right, small update on where I'm at. So we've got the battery box back here. We've got the terminals on, and a small note before you put those terminals on, put the grommets on, that way you can just slide them in. You don't have to take that terminal back off. So these are spaced correctly where they can fit on the terminals, no issue. I have not put them on yet. I don't want to be electrocuting myself. So looking at the front, you've got where the wires come out of the front of the box, and basically they're both gonna be together and come down this way. There is a hole here with a grommet in the caliper. So what I'm gonna do is kind of cut a little bit out of this, that way I can pass my wires through. The power wire is gonna come through there and run up next to the frame, basically all the way to the back of the car. Now it comes out back here, and then it'll be connected to the power shutoff that's back here. And then you've got the other side of the power shutoff, gets the other side of the wire, and it'll come back up through, and then the ground wire is gonna run along with these two, and they're both gonna kind of run along and come right up here into the passenger side footwell, which is where the distribution blocks are gonna be mounted a little higher up, so you're not gonna be kicking them or anything down here on the floor. They're gonna be up here, kind of in the fender well area. Basically right here is where they're gonna be mounting to. So that's my next step, is to get that stuff mounted. And then basically the only thing I'm waiting on to finish up this stuff is gonna be the power shutoff. But I can get the blocks mounted and go ahead and hook up some powers and grounds to them, so. That's where I'm at right now. All right, guys, final update for you. So you know the box has been mounted, it's all good. The terminals, the battery terminals are on, the wires are ran. You know where those two go, they're just waiting on the power shutoff to get here, and that gets mounted, no problem. It's just 2 terminals and a pull switch. So the 2 wires run up here. The distribution blocks have been mounted, no problem whatsoever. They're not going anywhere. Now all we have to do, well, that cover just came off, but all we have to do is plug in our power outlets here to go to the, I think, starter, the fuse box right here, and also the alternator. Any other thing we want to run can go in the 4th one. The ground wire, we have to run one to the chassis to make sure we ground it really good, and the rest of them are the rest of the grounds that I haven't wired up yet. So overall, pretty simple install, pretty straightforward. Of course, probably in the next video or 2, you'll see the power shutoff get installed and a couple other things, but for now, that is the battery relocation installation on a Caliber SRT4, and it's pretty much the same for any car. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you like this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.